Actually, there was another unfinished project which was in the genre of apocalyptic survivor FPS game. I really loved the concept and the mood was great, but I thought that this game would be too large and I want to make smaller games because at the moment I was about to quit the job, so with the hope that there could be much more chance to make some money by making smaller games, I decided to stop the project and move on to smaller one. However, after the goal of making the game changed, it was not that fun and I don't like the game. Then I launched a new game and it failed, but luckily I got a new job, so everything was back to normal except the failed game project. I got a lesson from there that I was too hesitated and I should make a game that I love. So I decided to stop project to develop again. This game is about surviving. When the player opens their eyes, they found out they are on the bed, but they don't know why they are here. They want to know what this situation is and want to get out of this building. I started this game as FPS style, but this time I'm going to make this as top-down style. I thought top-down style game makes the player to think about their situation and helps them more strategic thinking. I got inspired this game from Walking Dead series, Project Zomboid and Sky Hill's games. Especially I love the design of Sky Hill. Every time the player has to make decision whether to open the door or not, the player might get some items from there, but they might encounter the monster. Also, every movement has its cost, so it makes the player to think about the strategy, how to explore the building. I thought that this is quite interesting. Also, I want to have similar field of view in my game to Project Zomboid, and this was my first challenge. Basically, the player can see objects like walls and environments near the player, but cannot see certain types of objects like enemies. Because I don't have an idea how to implement this, I started with the simplest one. There are a lot of examples on YouTube, so I could easily make them. However, I still don't have an idea how to move on to next step. I was struggling with how to make the enemies not to be visible to the player, but still keep the other objects visible. I found a tutorial video from the Code Monkey, and this is similar that I want, but somehow I think it's because of the different versions of URP, it did not work for me. So I struggled to figure out how to fix this problem. I googled with various keywords, asked ChatGPT and so on. It's all about URP, and specifically it's all about URP renderer feature. I found a video from the Unity official YouTube channel that introduced this feature. They showed how to use these features in various ways, and I noticed that with that feature I could make specific layers hidden or visible in relation to other layers. So I digged in this feature to accomplish my goal. So I started testing, following the tutorial, trying to figure out reading the docs, testing again, adding the settings, testing again. After many trials and errors, like a science experiment, figuring out what settings affect how it renders, I finally found the magic recipe. Now I have a radius field of view and a cone-shaped field of view. If the enemy is within those boundaries, it appears in the player's line of sight. When it's not in the field, it does not appear. Also, if the enemy is behind a wall or obstacle, we cannot see it. Still, the player can see the environments like walls and obstacles. After all, I finally made it. Although there are some hard moments before achieving this goal, from all the experiments, I've learned something about URP render features, which feels quite great. You might get curious if these assets are bought from the Unity store, but it's not. I'm trying to make all the assets with Blender. This might sound inefficient because the work speed could be slow, but I think in a different way. I want to make my own assets to make the game as similar as possible to what I imagine. It was not difficult to model the character because I made my game in a low poly style. However, making animations became a challenge for me. Just making animations was simple, but making them natural was really hard. For making natural, I need a reference. Maybe it could be images by frames, or maybe it could be a real movement by a person. So I tried to find something that could help me making animations like Pinterest. I usually visit this website whenever I need a visual reference. However, without luck, I couldn't find great reference images for animation. There were some basic reference images like walking forward, running forward, but except that, there wasn't so much, so I thought it'd be not a great idea to consider this site as a main source for finding animation references. So the way I found my animation reference at the end was using Mixamo. Mixamo is a website where you can find various animations, and if you have a mesh, Mixamo helps you make an animation with that. But somehow it didn't work for me. When imported the FBX file exported from Mixamo into my Blender, I could only see the bones, not the mesh, but it was okay. At least I could see the bones. They would be great references for making animations. And as you can imagine, it took some time, so I changed my plan a little bit. I skipped a lot of animations that were on the to-do list. Now it's time to make some props like hospital bed, mini refrigerator, IV stand, etc. Making those was exciting because I felt like I was making something. All things were going very well, everything was perfect. Until I did the texturing. I did the texturing with UV mapping, so I imported several color palettes, but every time I worked with those color palettes, somehow I didn't like the colors. Some parts looked dull, ugly, not cool. So I took hours to finish this one simple hospital bed texturing. I usually do programming. I do software programming at my full-time job, so there wasn't much experience with color selection. So this was one of the toughest moments, seeing how many hours I took to finish this simple hospital bed, but still it's not perfect for me. I was a bit frustrated, so I took a rest for a while. You know, I believe that there is no one who is perfect at the first time. We can do something better with practice. This time also I try to remind myself of those words. I just thought this is a great opportunity to grow my skills, and although it might not be 100% satisfaction for me, I just try to move on, keep working, and after many hours, I just finished my first version asset packs. I made several environment assets, several props, and made some items. I think this would be enough to start. And this is it. Today I show you how I started this project. I want to tell you about the concept and challenges I faced and the progress. If you enjoy watching this video, please subscribe to this channel. I will keep working on this project and I will bring an even more interesting devlog next time. Bye!